What is going on, everybody? Finally getting back behind the camera, and I'm gonna do the update on the OPTEC Fuel Maximizer. I've got all the numbers right here. Everyone that's been commenting about it, through social media, and just people that out and about that know me, and on here as well, everyone wants the updates. Everyone wants these numbers. They want to see if that thing is worth it or not. Well, I got them all right here, and we're going to go through all that, and I'll do a brief breakdown of the testing and all that kind of good stuff, so that if you are just joining me, you will at least know what's going on, what I'm talking about, and what the unit is and everything. But here I am, as I said in one of my previous videos. I was in the process of moving. That's why the delay and everything. As you see, I am in, this is my new garage. This is the new shop. Yes, it is a mess. I just moved in. I haven't even got the toolbox. There it is. I haven't even got the toolbox situated yet, So, but got the Dodge in here for right now, and I have not got the old Ford up here yet, but working on that. So, well, without further ado, let's go over to the other garage where the car is. Here's the car. Just kind of keep it in this other garage for right now. So before I get into all the numbers, let me give a brief breakdown of this unit and the changes I had to make to it in the second week of testing. Okay. Now, as of right now, the unit is unhooked. Let's see, it's let me get down here. Let's see, this might, the lights are behind the car, so alright, so the unit is actually unhooked, and reason being is because I am done with testing. But the vacuum line basically was on there, and for week 1 I had it come right down to there, right where you can see this. That's where the vacuum line was run to for week 1. Now week 2 of testing, I followed this line, and this line comes down to right there. Let's see if you can kind of see that right there. So week 2, I had the vacuum line off the unit directly off the engine right here, in which you can see it is after the throttle body, not before, it's after. Okay, so this is obviously pulling vacuum from up here. I mean, it's still pulling it from there, but you still got all of this travel versus being right down there. Okay, so it was hooked up right there for week 1. Week 2, it was hooked up down here. Give a little breakdown of week 1, week 2. Now this was testing on 13 gallons of fuel. The owner's manual says it has 13-gallon tank, when this thing is dead on E and literally sucking fumes, you can put 13 gallons in it. So that's what I tested on. I tested 13 gallons. All right, so just a brief breakdown of the travel time. So it's 130 miles per day. And a total of 650 miles a week that I was driving this. So naturally you can see why it was the perfect time to test this unit. Okay, so week 1, I got, out of 13 gallons, I got 340 miles out of 13 gallons, which comes out to 26.1 miles per gallon, which I will say is probably very accurate, because for some reason, I guess with the car's age and everything, the fuel mileage is not what it should be with this car. At 221,000 miles, I do run full synthetic oil. It has a fresh tune-up, K&N air filter. I do maintain this engine very, very well, but I'm assuming with the mileage and everything, it's not getting. I mean, it has been costing me a fortune every week in fuel. So 26.1 miles per gallon is what this thing was getting in week 1 testing, even with the unit hooked up. And remember, like I showed you, week 1, that's where the vacuum line was hooked up to, you know, at the top there by that sensor. So week 1, 340 miles on 13 gallons of fuel, 26.1 miles per gallon. Did the unit work? No, it did not work. It did nothing. Absolutely nothing. It couldn't have possibly worked because I know the fuel mileage of this car was not what it should have been. So 26.1 miles per gallon, the unit did not work. On to week 2. Now week 2, I took the vacuum line and run it directly off the engine right after the throttle body, okay? So 13 gallons of fuel again. I got, let's see, so it ended up doing, it did a little bit better. I ended up getting 392 miles on 13 gallons of fuel, which averages out to 30.1 miles per gallon. So, you know, 340 miles per gallon, or 340 miles per tank, which is 13 gallons, versus 392 miles per tank, 13 gallons of fuel. So, which 30 miles a gallon, that gives me a gain of 4 miles per gallon. Okay, so a gain of 4 miles per gallon, of course that's better than 26. You know, was it worth it? No, it was not worth it. It was not worth the testing. It was not worth the time that I put in for it, everything. And reason being why I would tell you is because the car would read, the O2 sensors would read that the car is running lean. You could not keep the check engine light off. And the only way to keep the check engine light off is you have to have a code reader with you. And literally, you go out at the beginning of your day, start the car up, let it run a little bit. As soon as you get to driving and get a mile or two down the road, check engine light will come on. Now, if you run with the check engine light on, this thing probably only got about 20 miles per gallon. It just drank the fuel. It was bad. So I would literally have to pull off the road, take my code reader, turn the check engine light off, and then I could continue on my entire trip to wherever I was going, and the check engine light wouldn't come back on until I'd come out of work, turn the thing back on, I get a mile down the road, gotta stop again, turn the check engine light back off again to continue my trip the rest of the way home. So you can imagine that was a pain to have to do that. Literally, because the check engine, you know, you start the car up and let it run for a little bit, check engine light wouldn't come on until you start driving down the road. And you gotta stop and turn the check engine light off. So that's pretty much the numbers. Everyone wants to know if this unit works, if it was worth it. You know what? For this particular vehicle, no, it was not worth it. Did it work? It seemed like the better vacuum pressure you get to it, it works better. And also, it seemed like it works better and uses less fuel when you have more vacuum pressure going to the unit, which means basically the harder you are on the throttle, the more pressure it's pulling, the more vacuum it's pulling on the unit, so the more plasma it is probably putting into your engine, and the less fuel you're burning. I mean, it's a Corolla. I can't have my foot in a radiator all the time. So it's just like, you know, this thing does this car no good at all. Now, has this unit worked on other vehicles? Of course it has. They have testing, they have numbers to where it has worked exceptional on other vehicles. My experience, my testing, you know, 4 miles a gallon, check engine light every single time I have to drive it, and it wasn't worth it to me. It was not worth it. And that was actually running 89 octane. I was running the mid-grade fuel because the 87 just seems like it's nothing but ethanol and watered down. It's terrible. The fuel nowadays, you all know it's terrible. And I can't really afford premium. You know, at $5 a gallon, you know. But so I was paying $4.69 a gallon for mid-grade, you know. So that's $4.69 a gallon for 13 gallons, and you know, for the testing of this. And that was, you know, I literally, you know, I only tested one tank a week, and then changed the vacuum line location and tested it again. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, for the price of fuel, 4 miles a gallon, check engine light, pain in the butt, it wasn't worth it to me. It wasn't worth it to me at all. So maybe I will get another vehicle to test it on later on down the road, possibly. If I can get a hold of anybody at the company, I'd run some numbers by them and talk to them, see if maybe there's something different I can do with it in this car, and especially keep the check engine light off. I don't know, but there you have it. So those are the numbers. Those are real life testing, real life numbers with a real life car with 221,000 miles on it, and an engine that is in very good shape. It's not getting the great fuel mileage. This car is supposed to be anywhere between, 32 to 36 or 37 highway, and up to 32 city, I think is what it was. From anywhere from, I think it was 27 or 28 to 32 city. And as you can see, it's not even getting that. I don't know what's going on with it, but the fuel obviously feels bad. So, and now also another thing anybody's probably going to ask, that is no fuel additives. That's no Lucas, you know, fuel additive or any kind of fuel injector cleaner, nothing. It's just straight out of the pump gas. That's it. So, but anyways, those are the numbers. Those are real life testing. There you have your answer. I hope everyone got the answers that they were looking for. If you have any other questions, drop a comment or hit me up on social medias or whatever, you know, wherever it is, you know, and I'll try my best to answer some questions best I can. And that's it. See you in the next video or whatever I test out next.